Oh, well, hi folks. Welcome back to the Dance channel. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be starting that little series about how much does my collection cost. And I'm going to show you what I use, the tools that I use to calculate all this stuff. There's an app that I use to catalog all the games that I got. When you get a collection this big, it gets really hard to remember what you do not have after a certain period of time. It also tells you how much it's worth. Now, whether or not it's 100% accurate is a give or take. So I'll show you what app I use, which will be displayed up here, and then I'll show you how to use the app. So today what we're going to be doing is, drum roll please. Today we are going to find out, we're going to do this console by console. We're going to do one of my favorite consoles. It's not a big collection. My biggest collection is probably the Xbox 360. So today we are going to be going through the PS3. Let's jump in. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and show you the application that we're going to be using today, and it's called GameEye. It's completely free, it's a great app. There is a web version of it, but I prefer the desktop version of the app. So as you can see here, you've got multiple catalogs of how you can catalog your collection, whether or not you have a lot of game, peripherals, toys to life, or print media, which is like your Nintendo magazines. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to add Modern Warfare 2 for the 360 to this collection. As you can see there at the bottom right hand corner, there's a little plus icon. We're going to go ahead and press that, and we're going to do the manual scan, as it works a lot better than the barcode one, but I'll show you the barcode one at the end. So as you can see here, I'm typing it up, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. You can do filters, and you can do redefined, and you can do based on country, language, and condition of your game. Now, when you do add the game, it won't actually go to the next screen. You can add multiple games at once, and then it will go to like a compilation when you press add. So as you can see here, we've added the game, and as you can see, you've got multiple catalogs there. You've got game, manual, box, or is it new? So you can go ahead and mark it as that, and you go ahead and hit complete, and that will add it to your game collection there. And then we're going to try the barcode. Sometimes it works, but Modern Warfare seems to have got it. Alright, so we've gone ahead and added Modern Warfare 2 as a 360. Now let's go ahead and go on to the PS3 component of this video. Let's go, guys. Alright, so why don't we go ahead and get right on into this. So let's go ahead and see the value of it. So we've gone ahead and written down how much all the games are worth based on the app that I just shown you, which is GameEye, which basically is a cataloging app, and it gets a rough price of how much these are. So some of these may be worth more or less. So let's go ahead. So the first game we're going to start off here with Rocksmith. This one here is complete with the manual and all that kind of stuff. Don't have the guitar, but I do have the cable for that. So that one there is complete. So that one is worth $18 Australian. Next game we're going to look at here is the original Black Ops on the PS3. I mostly played this on the 360, but that one there is also complete with the game, box, manual, and disc. That one is worth a total of $7. So there we go. Alright, so the next game we're going to get into is PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. This one is worth a total of $9. This is the rip-off for Smash Brothers. Okay, so next game we got here is Batman Arkham Asylum. Love this game as a kid. This one here is also complete. I do remember, I think this one came with 3D glasses, which I've got somewhere. So, yep, so Batman Arkham Asylum is worth a total of $14. This is the Essentials one. Trying to get rid of the Essentials. I like the first editions or ones that are full print. Alright, on to the next game. This game is one of my favorite games of all time. Grand Theft Auto 4. Now, this is a weird copy. This must be a later copy when PlayStation switched from having I swear there's two copies. There's a copy with the PlayStation logo like this, the PS3 one, and then there's the non-standard one. So, Grand Theft Auto 4 is worth a total of $8. This one's complete. I do have the poster hanging up. So, yeah, Grand Theft Auto 4. On to the next one. Alright. Next game, let's go ahead. This is Rise of Argonauts, I think it's called. I've never played it. I don't know if you still can. There's some games that you can't play anymore, but it's made by Codemasters, so we may have to give this one a whirl. This one here is worth a total of $11, and we'll go into the next game. And so we got Assassin's Creed 2 here. This one is worth a total of 4 Australian dollary dues, and this one here is also complete. Love this game back in the day. Mostly played on the 360 though. All right, on to the next game. So the next game we've got here is Prince of Persia, The Forgotten Sands. This one is worth a total of $5, and this one here is also complete. And look, we got the original receipt. Ooh, how much did someone pay for this back in the day? Oh, there we go. So someone originally paid $109 for this. Can we see? Here we go. Oh, there we go. So it was purchased on the 22nd of the 5th, 2010. That's interesting. I like keeping this stuff with it because it's been with it for a while. As you can tell, this thing's been with that thing for like 20 years. So, all right, on to the next game. On to the next one. So we have here Untold Dark Kingdom. This one's worth a total of $7. This one is not complete. And I believe this is like one of those Sony online ones, so I don't think you can play this one anymore. Anyway, on to the next game. All right. Okay, on to the next game here. The next game we've got here is Killzone 2. This is one of those franchises I've never got into. I probably should because I like Halo and FPSs and stuff. I've never fully played a Killzone game. I definitely should get into it. I don't know what the best one is, but this one is also complete. And Killzone is worth a total of $5. All right, on to the next game. All right, so on to the next game here. So the next game here, we got Mindjacked. I remember this one from that Angry Joe video back in the day. So Mindjacked is worth a total of $9. This one is also complete. Got the disc, manual, and everything else. So let's get on to the next game. All right, so the next game we got here is absolute masterpiece. This one here is worth a total of $6, as this game's been released about 100 times. I did play it on the PS3, but I mostly played it on the PS4. This one's complete. I still remember that first cutscene, I think. Joel, that's it, Joel. Something happened to Joel. He's sad. All right, on to the next game. All right, next game we got here is probably one of the only sealed games that I have. It is Infamous, the first one. This is the Platinum Hits one. It is a sealed boy, and it is worth $14. All right, Front Mission Evolved. Now, this game looks badass. I've never played it, but you've got mechs and shit, and I think this is a franchise that's been going for a while, actually. So this one here is worth $9, and that one is also complete. All right, so the next game we got here is one of my favorite games. I played this like to death on the 360. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. I can't remember if this one was the one that had... yes, it had multiplayer in it. I think it had like a hide and seek multiplayer, which was awesome. And this one's complete. I remember the Toby Turner when he made those like funny trailer videos. So Assassin's Creed Brotherhood is worth a total of $3. So steal. All right, on to the next one. So the next one is actually one of my favorite. I've got a lot of favorite games here. This next one is a game that I absolutely loved on the 360. I played a lot of these on the 360. I only got a PS3 later because, you know, they're expensive as heck. The next one we got here, it's worth $15. It's Harry Potter and the Order of Phoenix. I remember this one came with a poster, which I have hanging up as well. I keep my posters separately so they don't get damaged in the cases. So yeah, this one's complete. I remember this is one of the first kind of ones where you could kind of openly worldly explore Hogwarts, and it's Hogwarts in the way of the movies instead of the books, which is pretty good. So yeah, this one's worth about $15. If you have a PS3 or 360, I recommend this game. It is good fun. Okay, on to the next game. So the next game here we've got is Assassin's Creed 3. This one is worth a total of $4. I believe this one here, I don't know, I think this one's not complete. I think it's supposed to be a manual there. But no, trying to get most of my games complete. I don't really buy them if they're not complete anymore because there's no point. Anyway, so on to the next game. All right, the next game here we got is one of my favorite franchises. Also has a great TV show out, by the way. I'm still watching the second season. It's awesome so far. That would be Fallout. So this Fallout New Vegas is worth $10. This one's a complete copy. I loved New Vegas, one of my favorite Fallouts. It is complete, and I do have another one of these receipts. Let's see how much someone paid for it back in. I'll show the receipt. There's no increment. So someone paid $80 for this. I think that would be roughly when it came out. So it's the it's the same year. So it's the 24th of 12th, 2010, and this guy paid $79 for it at EB Games. Man, it was so good when EB Games actually used to have video games in their store. Now it's full of random stuff instead of like retro games, which would be pretty cool. All right, on to the next game. All right, on to the next game. So the next game is from, I am a big pro wrestling fan, as you guys would definitely know if you're tuning into my channel or know me. So this one's worth $6. It's SVR 2010. Everyone knows the best one is SVR 2007, which is on the 360 and PS2 and PSP. This one here is complete. So you got the manual, you got the disc. I love this. More like 2011, the best on the PS3 is my favorite one because of the way that the mechanics work with the tables and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, who got got Edge, Taker, Cena, Randy Orton, Rey Mysterio. The weirdest thing is to think, basically, well, these two are retired. He's in AEW now. These are the only two really active wrestlers right now. He's in the Hall of Fame. He's in the Hall of Fame. He's in the Hall of Fame. He's probably next. And Randy Orton will eventually be there. All right, on to the next game. All right, so on to the next round. Another wrestling game, of course. This one is WWE 12. So WWE 12 is worth $9. This is currently in my PS3. I've been playing it. Again, I'm trying to get some trophies out of these older wrestling games because they're a little bit easy. So yeah, I think they changed some of the mechanics in this one. I prefer 2011, as you can see, it's not there, but we do have the manual in here. All right, on to the next game. All right, so the next game we got here, like I said, it seems like it's a pro wrestling stack right here. And the next one's my favorite one on the PS3, Xbox 360 era of pro wrestling games. One of maybe you could say 2K14 could be one of my favorite ones. But this is my favorite SVR game all time. 2007 is good, but I think this one's better. And that is SVR 2011. Now, this one here is worth a total of... And SVR 2011 is worth $9. Loved this one as a kid. You could change, they were subtly giving you a change their attire, but just the colors. I think this was the first one where you could upload images or you could make images in the game. But one of the best parts of this game is you can see how they're making mention of all the tables and stuff. It was really cool. They had this physics thing, so if he was there and there was a table there, you could throw him out of the ring to the table. It would be nuts, and the table would stay there longer than the modern ones. As you can see, this one here is also complete. All right, on to the next game. All right, on to the next one. Whew, getting through quite a lot of these games. There's a lot here. I've got about 3 more stacks to go through. So the next game we got here is Black Ops 2. This one here is complete. So Black Ops 2 is worth a total of $6. I might have played the COD games on 360 back in the day because the party system's way better. I also like the controls better. I hated... we got a PS3 controller here. So COD on PS3 didn't use the bottom triggers. They used the top ones. I didn't like that. I like that to be the trigger, but I guess it's because PS3 had this weird, really far back pressing button, whereas now they're kind of more 360-ish with, it's not so weird to use the trigger. Don't know how to explain it, but yeah, I prefer the bottom triggers to be shooting and that is to be my tactiles, but I probably could change that in the game, but yeah, I like the 360 versions of these better. Anyway, on to the next game. On to the next game. So the next game we're going to have here is a franchise that I probably should really get into. That's the Metal Gear Solid franchise. So this is Metal Gear Solid 4 on the PS3. It is complete. So Metal Gear Solid is worth $9 dues on the PS3. All right, on to the next game. All right, so the next game we got here is Ratchet & Clank Tools of Destruction. This one here is worth $14. This one's complete as well. Like I said, I'm going to try and see if I can get rid of the essential ones. Maybe I trade them in to get the first editions. All right, on to the next game. All right, next up, the next game we got here is Ratchet and Clank Quest for Booty. This one here is worth $31. It's not even complete. We definitely need to go and get the manual or get a complete copy of this and trade this one in. Next game, we've got Just Cause 2. I remember this game back in the day. It was so much fun using the hook on things. So this one here's worth a total of $5. I do mainly play this on Steam, and this one is also complete. All right, on to the next game. All right, on to the next game. Here we go is Resistance Fall of Man. I've been meaning to play the Resistance games. I think they were supposed to be the Halo killer, made by Insomniac. I think this is a first-person shooter. Or is it third person? I think it might be third person. But no, I definitely have to play this. This one here is also complete. I do like seeing the old classic way that the PlayStation logo was presented, and this one here is worth a grand total of $6 dues. On to the next one, boy. Next game here, we have the standard copy. As you can see before, we had the sealed copy of Infamous. This one's worth a grand total of $9. This one here, I have a couple of these games in a binder or folder, just so if it's a game I want to use or it's a game I'm going to go and complete, I'll show you how I do that. Instead of having the cases near the TV, I just have them in binders so I can pull out the game and play them and don't have to put so much wear and tear on the cases. Anyway, on to the next one. All right, on to the next one. So the next game we got here is Borderlands 2. This one here is also complete. I played the absolute living daylights out of this one over on the 360 too. So yeah, this one here is worth a grand total of $5. All right, on to the next game. Next game, another one of my favorite ones, BioShock 2. This one here is worth a grand total of $5. This one here is also complete with a manual in the back of the game. I love BioShock. I love this one, and I like the last one, which is Infamous. That one is awesome. I played that to completion on the PC. All right, on to the next game. Okay, next game we got here is Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I really hope they remake this game. Apparently it's rumors. I don't know. Is it rumors? Is it not rumors? Because I'd love to replay this game remastered. I still remember the water and the pirate ships and all that kind of stuff. It's so awesome. Assassin's Creed with pirates. Good classic idea. And Assassin's Creed 4 is worth a grand total of $4 dues. All right, on to the next game. All right, next game we got here is Heavenly Sword. That's it. And this one here is worth a grand total of $9. And this one here is also a complete game. All right, on to the next game. Okay, so the next game we got here is BioShock 1, the first one. This one here is worth $6. I do remember playing this back in the day. As I've been saying, it used to be a 360 head, and then I got a PS3. This is definitely one of those ones you got to play. A lot of these games are now on Steam, or they were originally released on PC. Obviously, if you do want to play it on a console, is probably the best way to do BioShock would be to get the PS4 ports or Xbox One ports and play it like that. But if you really want to play, you can obviously play it on PC. All right, on to the next game. All right, next one here is, I believe this is the first of the franchise, obviously showing you guys. It is Uncharted. I love Uncharted to the moon. I love 4, I love 3, I love 2. 1 is a bit dated now, but I still love the game. Obviously, the best way to play these ones would be to get the PS4 copies. I wish they would release all 3 on PC. There's only 1 or 2 on PC, which is Uncharted 4, and then the Lost Chapter or Lost Legacy. I can't remember that one with the 2 chicks. The one without Nathan Drake, which is like, what's the point? But no. Anyway, this game here is worth a grand total of $4, and this one here is also complete. I want to get the special edition versions of Uncharted, and then I want to get the Japanese ones because it's just cool to have Japanese based games, and because it's a PS3 it is region free, unlike the 360. All right, on to the next game. All right, next game we got here is BioShock the pre-sequel. This one's worth a grand total of $6. This one is not complete. All right, on to the next game. All right, the next game we got here is the Hunted, the Demon Forged. This one's worth about $7. It's a it's a Bethesda game. Okay, we might need to check this one out. I've got it, but I haven't played it. I don't know if any of you guys have, but definitely we have to have a look into it. So yeah, it's a ZeniMax Bioshock game. Okay, well, Bethesda, sorry. Definitely have to check this one out. So yeah, this one's worth a grand total of $7. All right. On to the next game. Okay, on to the next game. So the next game we got here is Pure. This game was so much fun back in the game. It's an ATV racing game on PS3 and 360. This was worth $3. I believe this was a pack-in title when you bought 360, and I think it came with Indiana Jones, the Lego one. I can't remember. But no, this one here is worth a total of $3. Definitely would go and buy this one. All right. On to the next game. Okay, so the next game we got here is Infamous 2. This one here is worth a grand total of $13. So Infamous is one of those franchises, as I've been saying, the good thing about collecting and the good thing about showing off my collection is some games that I have never played, I'd love to go ahead and play. This Infamous 2 and $13. All right, on to the next game. Okay, the next game we got here is another Ratchet and Clank game. It's a Crack in Time. This one also is complete, and this one here is worth a grand total of $8 dues. All right, on to the next game. All right, next game we got here is Soul Calibur 5. I've never really been into fighting games, but I do like the Soul Calibur franchise and the Mortal Kombat ones. I definitely do have to get into some fighting games. I want to get one of those fighting sticks, and we definitely will need to get into these. So Soul Calibur 5 is worth $9 dues. All right, on to the next one. Okay, on to the next one. Now, this next one is my favorite Fallout of all time, and that is Fallout 3. Still remember Megaton, you'd go in there, you could either disable the bomb, enable the bomb, or detonate the bomb. You could either blow it up as well. I still remember how funny that was. This one here is also complete. Ooh, we have a receipt. Let's go ahead and have a look and see how much this dude paid for this back in the day. Just make sure there's nothing incriminating on here. Oh, okay. Ooh, okay. All right, so here we go. So the game was purchased back in 2008. This dude bought two games. He bought himself, looks like Fallout 3 and Far Cry, and he paid $98.84 for good old Fallout, and it is grand total worth now on PS3 $8. So yeah, there we go. So most of the Fallout games are better on PC anyway. All right, on to the next game. Okay, next game we got here is a classic. If you've got a PlayStation console, PS3, PS2, you gotta have a SingStar. This is SingStar Pop plus SingStore. I remember these ones kind of sucked because microtransactions absolutely killed SingStar. Because you couldn't just get the game and it would have a boatload of songs on there. Like, I remember, that's all you got. Like, come on. That's it for SingStar? And it's on a Blu-ray? Yeah, it's worth $8, by the way. And obviously you need to have the microphone attachment to make this one work. Anyway, on to the next one. Let's go to the next game. All right, next game we got here is Dark Sorcery? Sorcery? Yeah, that's it, Dark Sorcery. This one's worth $11. I've never played this. I don't know what it's about, but maybe we could, maybe we can check some of these out on stream. They're not retro achievement ones, but we can definitely check out some of these games. Maybe make some reviews on these older ones. So yeah, this one here is worth a grand total of $11. All right, on to the next game. All right, on to the next game. Now, this is one of those franchises, because I didn't have a PS3 as a kid. I didn't really get into them till later. Little Big Planet, I love these games. I love how creative some people can be. It reminds me of like Yoshi's Woolly World and all that kind of stuff. And this one here is also complete. And this one here is worth a total of $6. All right, on to the next game. All right, so as we got the first one, we might as well go to the second one. This is Little Big Planet 2. This one is also complete. And this one here is also worth $6. All right. Okay, so the next game we got here is Overlord Rising Hell. This one looks really interesting. This one's worth $14. I definitely will have to check this one out. This looks cool. It's like a little... is it little dudes and little beat 'em ups kind of game. And yeah, we'll definitely have to. Okay, we definitely have to check this one out. I've never played it, but it's made by Codemasters, so we'll have to check them out. Okay, so the next game we got here is Assassin's Creed, the original one. This one is worth a grand total of $5 dues. It's not complete, but a lot of these older games, you can see it's a little bit of clean, are really hard to get complete as the age of them get trickier and trickier, but we definitely will have to do that. So yeah, $5 dues. Alright, the next game we got here is another Uncharted game. This is the first one. This copy is a little bit beat up. We definitely will need to replace this one with a Platinum Hits one. I want to get the collector's editions for all the Uncharted games. Would be really cool. So yeah, Uncharted 1 is worth a grand total of $5. Alright, so where you have Uncharted 1, you've got Uncharted 2. Best game on the PS3, by the way. This one's not complete, but we definitely will have to get that one complete. This one here is really strange. So Uncharted 2 is worth $3 dues. Alrighty-o, last game we got here is Soul Calibur 4, where you could play Darth Vader, and I think the 360 had Yoda, I think, from memory. So yeah, this one here is also complete. This one's worth grand total of $9. Alright, so we've gone through all the games. Now let's go ahead and see how much these total out to. All right, just before we go ahead and go to the next part, so we'll go over some controllers here. I've got this camo one. I didn't really do peripherals. I've got the black standard DualShock, and I want to get the backwards compatible version of this, but we have the
what? It's just an ordinary crabby. Oh my goodness!
No, wait, you can see me there, and you can see me in my shorts. Yeah, that's the big Goliath PS3. That's the one I use most of the times. I do have a Super Slim, but I want to get the one in between. Alright, so we have done all the games and all the consoles. Let's go ahead and see how much the total is. We'll go over to the big guy right now. Alright. Alright, so that's it. So we've gone ahead and calculated all the games that I got. You've seen every game that I have and had a little bit of a chat about some of the games. So yeah, that was awesome. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a grand total of the PS3 here, and whatever console I've got is going to be over there, and a grand total of how much all the games along here are going to cost us by the end of the day. So the PS3 in Australian dollars is $665, and in USD it is $441.
Jesus.
Yeah. So the missus like you're getting the missus. It's a little bit of money. It's not really that much when you really think about it. There's quite a lot of games here. None of them are really kind of worth all too much. They're worth maybe grand total like $14. There's one for $31, which is Ratchet and Clank, which is probably the one worth the most out of that collection. So yeah, just a little bit of a thing. So I thought once I've displayed my collection, I might have a chat about you guys about maybe some fun moments I've had with the PS3. If you guys have got any fun moments you've had maybe when you got your PS3, games you used to play, favorite memories of it down below. One of my memories is seeing it in the shopping centres. It would have been around about 10 is when it really just came out. That was the big fat model with a PS2 built inside, which is the one I really would like to get, but that PS3 is worth $1,000. That's a lot of money for a PS3, but it'd be cool just to have. But no, so yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video today. If you've got a great story about your PS3, as I was saying before, go ahead and comment down below. If you like what you see here, go ahead and hit subscribe, and like the video and comment down below. If you want to see more of these videos come out and you want to see the series, go ahead and subscribe, so you can watch the grand total of how much this all will cost, and we'll find out along the way.
Will it be a house deposit or not?
Maybe. Who knows? Is it a house deposit or not? $400? We're not there yet, but we'll soon find out. Anyway, this is me, Mr. Dan1268, otherwise known as Dan. Catch you in the next guy.